We think of energy as electricity, the generation of heat or the product of fuel, but in fact, everything that is made of matter can be thought of as energy. Money is a form of energy, as are food, crystals, plants, and even inanimate objects. Everything on Earth vibrates and generates its own energy, although it may appear to be solid and stationary. All forms of energy have a particular vibrational frequency that creates a level of consciousness. Humans are energetic beings, and their vibrations will be higher or lower depending on their state of health and mind, the food they consume, the vibrations of the people they interact with, and the kinds of lives they lead. Different forms of energy that humans use as exchange also have different levels of vibrations, which can, in turn, raise or lower the frequency of energy that we emit to others. Natural and organic foods and medicines will raise vibrations, whereas synthetic medicines and foods grown with pesticides will lower them. Sunshine can raise one's energy, thus improving one's mood and optimism, whereas rain and clouds can have the opposite effect. Anything used as an exchange of energy to live and survive on Earth will directly affect how humans feel, think, say, and do every day. The frequency of energy used as exchange will affect how happy or sad, positive or negative we feel. For instance, a smile or a kind tone of voice in response to a gift or service given will always create a much higher energetic exchange than harsh words or no thanks at all. If the exchange of energy returned is lower than the intention or value held by the person providing the gift or service, an imbalance will be created, causing dissatisfaction and disharmony between the giver and receiver. Money is a very dense energy form which can weigh people down like a ton of concrete, especially if importance and status are attached to it. Money has the potential to keep people grounded in the physical world, blocking their minds to the opportunities and possibilities that the universe offers, should they be open to it. If humans could always think of money, possessions, and food as forms of energy rather than as physical objects, or the only form of energy exchange that matters, they would find it much easier to create abundance in their lives. Although the use of money as legal exchange cannot be avoided, the vibration in which it is handled can have a major effect on people's financial situations. The law of attraction comes into play here, as attachment to money, status, or material objects will keep you in the third dimension and block your ability to manifest what you need. Worry about money and the lack of it will only bring more of the same. Giving thanks and blessings for the abundance you already have, however, will quickly open the way for attracting more abundance into your life. Visualizing the abundance you need, the form it must take, e.g., financial, happiness, etc., and giving thanks for it coming into your life as if it has already happened, you are giving clear signals to the universe and it will answer. After putting your request out there, it is essential to let it go, because you will be back in the cycle of attachment if you don't. If you need money and it doesn't eventuate even though you have asked the universe every day, it might mean you need to look at your belief system. Do you feel deserving of money? Do you actually believe good things can come to you at all? Do you believe life is hard or know how to live life, not just survive it? These beliefs can be huge blockers. So, how has money changed, improved, or ruined your life? And how can you change your perspective of money to that of flow and abundance, rather than hard-earned and always in lack? Are you liberal with your energy exchanges, or miserly and guarded? While one can be too generous, also creating energy imbalances, It is necessary to give, spend, and let go of energy in order to receive it. There can be no flow with only one spout. Pouring water from a vessel without refilling it will only drain and deplete it. So, next time you find yourself short of energy, whatever form that may take, reflect on how much you have given and how the exchange you received made you feel. As a co-creator, you are much more in charge of your life and wealth than you might imagine, just through your beliefs, thoughts, and actions. And so it is. If you're like most people on the fast track into 5D at this point, you're probably feeling major, unsettling shifts and losses occurring within you and your life. And you're maybe experiencing a great deal of discomfort, disorientation, and fear with them, feeling lost, not sure what's happening to you. Perhaps you've experienced this sensation at other times in your life when change has happened. But now, if feels different. Change is happening much more quickly and much more dramatically. There's a whole lot more unknown involved, and the demand to simply trust the process can be overwhelming. It can be helpful to remember that these are times now in which profound changes need to be occurring in your ascension process, because you are in the process of literally losing an identity you've lived with all your life. You're not just experiencing certain shifts and losses like before. You're in the process of losing your whole sense of self, that experience of me-ness that you've always lived with, and you are rebirthing into another sense of self that is going to prove to be so different, so expanded, and so unlike what you've ever been imagining. It's no surprise if you are feeling disoriented, fearful. Not everyone is going through these same changes. It can be all the more confusing if you're noticing that there are people around you who don't seem to be going through the same kind of changes you are. If so, these people are probably not on the same timeline with you. They are likely not able, like you, to access and be affected by the same high-frequency waves hitting the planet at this time that are here to assist those who are ready to make the transition into 5D. It can be difficult to go through this transformational process alone, but what you're now being called to do is to just allow it all to happen in whatever way it is. All that is falling away at this point is what you can't take with you where you're going. You need to trust that whatever is essential for you will still be with you. Shifting into your new identity in the smoothest way. One way to assist you through this rapid, transformative process is to become very aware of the identity you've had most of your life, essentially as a body with a mind and emotions. And then once you began your conscious spiritual journey, you've also known yourself to be someone with a spiritual aspect as well. This has likely felt like a very full and complex sense of identity, especially when adding in the auric field around you and the higher self you maybe experience with you. And then on top of that, you've also had a number of shifting, temporary identities that have also occurred within this general sense of you as you've lived your life since childhood. This is especially so when you consider your relationships. Maybe you've had an identity as a parent, child, or partner, or as a work colleague or a sibling. You've probably had several different identities as a friend, depending on who the friend has been. In addition, maybe you've also developed a strong identity around what you do. You've put a lot of effort into creating, developing, refining, and expanding your identity with your work or your spiritual mission, whatever you see this as. There is nothing wrong with creating all these identities or in continuing to see yourself as one major identity who shifts in and out of these temporary ones. This is all part of the journey we make on this planet. And if you've managed to create a comfortable identity as someone with a spiritual mission, that's likely given you a sense of purpose and meaning. It's probably helped you through rough patches of challenge in other parts of your life. Next step in the ascension journey. However, what needs to happen now is the next step in your spiritual journey. This is realizing that this identity you have created, as complex and spiritually oriented as it may be, is still not actually who you are in the deepest sense. Or, at most, it's a very small part of who you are. And it's also been an identity that has been conditioned by frequencies created by hijacking controlling forces that have operated on a hostile alien frequency for thousands of years that have distorted and hindered your knowing of who you really are. The larger identity you've been locked out of. So what is this larger identity you've been locked out of all these years? In actuality, as a human soul, you are an expansive field of pure consciousness, pure light, pure love that extends throughout the universe. As an expansive, breathing presence, you are connected to everything that exists, all of creation. Your current sense of self, your 3D identity, can be compared to something that has been locked away within this expansive identity, as if inside of a container constructed around you. This container has been called slave self technology, or ancient alien technology run by AI implants, and it has been reinforced by frequencies streaming toward you from the Earth's grid that's been hijacked to keep you weak and disconnected from the enormous power you actually have. As you have struggled to live within this tiny container, you have been made to believe through infiltrated religious and New Age spiritual teachings that, in order to gain your freedom and full awakening, you have to keep healing yourself, grow, perfect yourself, and evolve into something greater. And you have also had to keep coming back lifetime after lifetime, suffering over and over again, forgetting what you've already learned, and continue on again each time on your painful, slow journey toward wholeness. When in actuality, all you need do is break out of this illusion and realize that you're already whole. You've just been made to forget that. You need to realize that you are already a momentous, evolved consciousness that long ago was convinced by the unfriendly forces that had invaded the earth that you're not. Your 3D identity is dissolving. The good news is that your false and limited identity is already beginning to dissolve. During these times, it's beginning to disappear into the larger field around you that is you. The confining and constricting borders of this false identity are disappearing into the greater consciousness that you are. The consciousness that stretches everywhere in this universe, that is already part of all creation. See if you can feel this, experience the expansion, the freedom, the sheer joy of being that you already are. And realize that this 3D identity you've put so much attention and effort into in creating it, developing it, and constantly improving it, but which has also given you so much suffering, is disappearing. It's too small, too weak and insubstantial, too filled with suffering and strife to survive. It's been too infiltrated with frequencies that have been filled with lies, oppression, rules, and laws not created to truly assist humanity. If you can step back and watch, you will see that what ends up remaining with you once this old identity fades is what is in alignment with the new 5D Earth frequencies you are now shifting into. Trusting the process. This isn't, of course, an easy process. It's filled with uncertainty, doubt, pain, and ongoing challenges. It's a gigantic shift, so there's no way around it. But if you can learn to trust the process and simply keep going each day, feeling into the new frequencies flooding you, you will begin to embrace and fully embody this new you that is coming on board. Naturally, your body will still be present with you, along with your mind and emotions, and all the rest of the non-physical aspects of you. Your body will still experience aging and aches and pains. You will still have thoughts and emotion, but you will no longer get caught in the illusion that this is all you are. You will experience these phenomena as ephemeral, temporary aspects of your reality, floating within the expansive sensation of yourself as the field of translucent light of being you now know yourself to be. And you will be delighted at the new flux of synchronicities that flood your life, the magic that seems to occur. You will be thrilled at the new sense of excitement that occasionally floods your being as new and deeper experiences of who you really are seem to appear out of nowhere. You will be overcome with the experience of yourself as an expansive being that extends throughout the universe, connected to everything in creation. And as you watch the small, carefully constructed 3D identity you've been clinging to slowly disappearing into this larger you, you will see just how unimportant, how flimsy, how weak, and ultimately how unreal it has always been. With all this, you will be able to relax into the new sense of profound well-being and inner peace you are now floating around in. As you are born again into your true identity, it will take some time, but the path into this new reality, although filled with challenges, is also filled with sparkling surprises and stunning realizations about yourself that will leave you laughing with abandon.